Mr. Jerry Vaval. What's going on, bloody?
JTG, what
What
it
up, what up,
do?
what up?
Nothing much. Just welcome the people to another episode of Giant Fundamentals, the podcast dedicated to empowering men by tackling the vital issues of mental health.
Sir.
I'm gonna start. How's my mind? How's my body? How's my heart? What am I grateful for? My mind is good. My mind is good. My heart is good. I feel like, and the reason I say good for all three is I feel like I'm aligned. Like my body, my heart, my mind are all aligned and we're succinct and we're moving in the right direction. Really been working on not looking at my phone like 30 minutes before I go to sleep, putting it away from me. Eventually, I want to put it in another room, but putting it away from me, hard for me to reach, not looking at it in the middle of the night when I have to go pee, meditating or listening to something soft or relaxing before going to bed, waking up to something soft or relaxing. I got to change my alarm ringer because I always have an alarm, but I don't necessarily need it. It's just the fear of being late. But I remember being at work and my alarm went off and somebody said, "Man, your alarm is traumatic."
Oh,
So
you
I was
got
like,
that one on. Yeah, that one is just
yeah.
like, that one startles you.
It does. It comes out of nowhere too. So I want to kind of change that. And something that I'm grateful for, I think that you would definitely appreciate is, and I thank our boy P for acknowledging this about me, is that I'm a super communicator. Right? I know I love to communicate, but he sent me a podcast on just people who are super communicators, which you are too. And with all this information that we have in this generation, we're learning how to effectively communicate better and better each and every day. And the way they broke down what a super communicator is, I was like, that's definitely me. Like, I'm not someone that is listening to really respond or to get my point across, but to understand that person's perspective and to really communicate within the communication. And that's just not speaking. That's just like the body language, the way I look, the way I respond, the way I receive the message and then regurgitate it back to you to see if I understand. So that's something I'm like, oh, okay, like this is actual skill set. So that's something that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill set. That's what makes, a general manager, a VP, a CEO. That's what make these people really what it is. That's the intangibles. Those are the soft skills. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you grateful for? How's your heart? How's your mind? How's your body?
Man, I'm just thankful for another day, man. I'm here. And I'm here, man. I was in my right mind. Um, I was hit the gym a little bit this morning. My
hmm
workout partner. And I'm thankful for slowing down
Mm.
on this hyper vigilant tear my whole life. And I think now I'm really starting to actually just, like they say, stop and smell the roses. Like I feel like I'm actually like slowing down. And it's interesting because I've always processed and I've always had moments in my day, mainly the morning time or the evening
hmm
time, where I would slow down and I would process and I would meditate and I would think about things. But
hmm
in between those times, my life was just going so fast. And now, as my values I start to rearrange my values. As I start to really see what's more important to me, now I'm like, okay, it's time for me to like really slow down. I thought I was slowing down, but now I'm like, okay, I'm really slowing down, like for real. So slowing down physically also helps slowing down cognitively as well. Like just catching
Mm.
my thoughts, not racing so much throughout the course of the day. Oh, like literally, come on, bro. I'm thinking about something that's supposed to happen like at the end of the year, and it's like, bro, like I'm catching myself doing it. I'm like, yo, why am I worrying about that right now? Like right now is the moment. So
hmm
that's what I'm thankful for.
Do you think that hypervigilance that you've had for all of your life caused you to run life at a very fast pace later on?
No, for sure. I think is I see myself going through two phases. I was always hyper vigilant because of the trauma that I experienced growing up in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, the schools that we went to, just always thinking ahead, like 5, 6, 7, 8 steps ahead. Like that was always just a thing. Even if it's not school, it's like walking home from school. You gotta think, okay, I can't go down that block because that gate always open. It's
It's
like
a dog.
yeah. So it's like at every single turn, I always had to think 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. But
Mm-hmm.
I may not have when I was younger, I may not have moved physically quickly, like, but my brain was moving fast. But as I got older, honestly, I want to say when I had my first child,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started to move physically fast, like career wise, and wanting to make more money and wanting to accomplish things. That's when I really started to move overdrive physically. Like
Mm-hmm.
hypervigilance was showing itself and it was manifesting itself in my physical life. And yeah, I don't like it. I don't like
So how do you, as a therapist, it's man, and God bless you, because you have to think as a parent, as a regular human being, quote unquote, but then also as a therapist, because sometimes I know in my parenting journey, I would get frustrated that my kids didn't have that hyper vigilance,
yeah,
right? Which is like sometimes that common sense or that street smarts, right?
yeah,
But then sometimes I'm like, I'm glad that I put them in a position where they don't have to think like that, right? They could just chill and they could be all happy with the world and lollygagging and stuff like that. So it's like, is like, I don't know, is that something we should pass down? Is that something that like, because I try not to scare my kids too much, especially I have girls, right? Well, I don't even like to say especially I have girls because men and boys need the same type of love and
exa-
awareness that women do, right? So I'm trying to get out of that gender identification in that way. So sometimes I'm like, dang, I don't want to tell my daughters or my sons, don't talk to strangers.
yeah,
But in networking in life, it's who you know. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
So it's like, what is that? Is there a balance in that?
But I don't really know if there's actually a balance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just very common for us to pass down what we experience to our kids because we're looking at it as, oh, it helped us become stronger and resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that because I don't feel as if you need to be traumatized to become resilient. But we don't realize that's what we're doing.
Wow.
We don't realize that's what we're doing when we try to pass it down to our kids. It's like, yo, your resilience is not necessarily resilience, it's a survival mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Those are totally two different things. So I definitely find myself doing the same thing to my kids, like, hey, you gotta move faster, you got this and that, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, yo, what's the rush? Like, why am I doing that? It's like I'm saying to them, you don't have time to be a kid. You're only 8, 9 years old. Yeah, your childhood is over. Because my childhood was over at that age. Now it's time to buckle up and be responsible and start looking at around your surroundings and start being aware and make sure you know that people will try to do this. It's like, nah, man, you're stripping away from the childhood. You're stripping away. So I
Mm.
don't think there's really a balance in that because, bro, we became that way through trauma. So literally, I like to tell my parents is you have to one, like we always mention on the pod, is that you gotta do some inner child work. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
inner child work impacts your parenting
Mm-hmm.
big time. Big, 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 big time. So you gotta be able to do that so that way you're not unnecessarily instilling things into your kids that don't need to be there. Like they're not growing up in the same day and age that we did. We had certain dangers in our time for sure, and they have different type of dangers in their time.
Yeah. And I want to give you an example is because the other night my daughter was at ballet. My oldest daughter, she's 16, and I don't usually pick her up because I'm usually at work when she has ballet in the evenings. And she texts me like, "Hey, Dad, can you pick me up? Mom's running late." And she's the only one left at ballet. And I'm like, "Oh, I'll be there." I just happened to be not at work. I was like, "Yo, I'll be there in 5 minutes." Like, I'm like, "Yo, I gotta go rescue my jit." You feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
I go, and then I see like the guy, the owner of the ballet is a guy studio. He's an older gentleman. So, my thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
racing. I'm like, she was here by herself.
Yeah.
Janai's she's fully developed now. She's a woman. You know what I mean? Like, she's with this guy. Then I was like, yo, why didn't you just tell me earlier? Like, she was like, oh, I didn't know I was giving mom a chance to get here, whatever. And she was like, I would have taken an Uber, but I don't like taking Ubers at night. So then I'm like, that's good. But I'm like, did something happen in an Uber at night? Like, where did that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so many things.
Yeah,
But
man.
I'm just like, I'm not trying to pass that on. So I'm like, okay, that's good. All right. I'm proud of her. And then we just changed the subject
Mm.
because I guess I don't want to go down that rabbit hole
Yeah,
of discovery and
exactly.
bring up things that may not even necessarily have happened to her to change her worldview. I'm very precious about my kids' worldview because I don't want them to be kids living out of fear or anger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
So it to your point is difficult to handle as a parent,
Yeah.
because they wanted us to grow up so fast.
Yeah, hell yeah. They wanted us to grow up so fast. A lot of the work that I do with my clients is showing that they were parentified. Parentified meaning you were a kid, but yet you had to raise your siblings. Like the responsibility of raising your siblings, it was on you. Like I have this one client I started working with. He's like 27. His younger brother is 22, 23. They both grew up with their parents, both mom and dad, but yet every time the brother does something that the parents don't like, they're like, "Oh, you need to talk to your brother." This and that, whatever. It's like, what the heck? That's how it is when you're parentified. The responsibility of raising the kids are on you, and it's like, nah, that's not healthy, man, at all.
Yeah, that's something that I've been cognizant is she's the oldest. And I know my sister, I consider my mom, my older sister. So I always, as much as I tell her she's the leader in a way, I don't try to put too much responsibility on her
Yeah,
as far as parenting the other kids.
for sure.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And talking about parenting and kids, you saw how the Philadelphia Eagles son the cheese. They son them cheese, boy. Oh man, they son them cheese, kid.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really care who won.
Yeah, I wanted both teams to lose.
Yeah, I didn't really. I was more so like, all right, it would be nice to see a three-peat. That would be like amazing to see a three-peat.
Word,
But
word.
in the same breath, I was like, I don't want to see KC win. Like,
Mm,
I don't want to see that. So I was just like, all right, whatever happens, happens. But the way that game started, I was whoa. The Eagles, they just had it, bro. And I was telling the boys that night, I was like, honestly,
mhm.
this was due for KC because they were eking out games this year, bro.
Every game.
Every goddamn game they were just eking out, and it's gonna catch up to them. And they just happened to play a team that was actually superior than them. They couldn't
Yep,
out anything like
yep.
defense, offense, special teams, coaching across the board. Eagles just came through and just wiped them boys clean. So
Yeah, I didn't care for both teams, right? But when I saw that they were down like 24 zip going into the half, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, you know what? This is where special moments are created because I was thinking about Brady being down 28-3. And they were saying Mahomes gonna be the goal. So I was like, if he pulled this off, that would be raw as hell for the 3-peat.
nah, I know it's gonna happen though.
Jalen Hurts. He
Nah,
wanted that revenge, huh?
that defensive line, man.
Big.
Eagles, boy, them boys ain't blitz one time. It's just defense, the front four terrorizing Mahomes. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's no coming back from that. Like, so you already know KC gonna go into the offseason,
Mm-hmm.
beef up that offensive line. That's the same thing they did when they lost to Tampa.
Yep.
Tom Brady and Tampa, they were getting killed by that front four.
And they were like, "No, we gotta change this."
Yeah, so well, it was decent. I mean, that was the first time in a long time that I actually watched a full Super Bowl.
Oh,
Like,
wow, you actually watched the whole game?
yeah. I actually watched the whole thing. You know, chilling with the guys and whatever. So if I was by myself, I would have been go do something else. I wouldn't even have watch all of that. But
So, what were your thoughts about the Negro spiritual halftime?
man, I loved it, man. The artistry, the creativity, the punchlines, the subliminal messages, everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick is just he's an artist. That's exactly what he is. He is an
Yes.
artist. So I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I appreciated it a lot.
I heard they're renaming it the Petty Bowl. It's because of
Yeah.
Kendrick literally like this is the biggest like this is the thing about success, right? And we kind of learned this from the movie Air when they talked about Michael Jordan. The larger you are, the harder from grace or the fall from grace is going to be harder, right? Like it's Drake's trajectory was so high. He was in Michael Jackson land
Mm-hmm.
that now with Kendrick coming at you, like it was bad enough he got like 4 or 5 Grammys. Now at the Super Bowl, it was just crazy. I honestly think I loved Kendrick's performance if it was more of a concert or close knit atmosphere. For the Super Bowl, it wasn't really a good Super Bowl performance to me. But I understood all the symbolism and all that stuff that Kendrick was doing. It's just that for that audience, I'd rather seen Drake and Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj or whatever. Or Matt. No, I'm not saying not Lil Wayne by himself, but like do a new one like Master P, Cash Money, like do a whole.
That's the thing. It's like why everybody wanted that just because he did it for the Cali like West Coast. It's like that's the expectation. Everybody talking about, oh, it's in New Orleans, this and that and that. Why you don't have New
You said that they set that precedent though. If you set that precedent, you cannot not do that
Oh,
somewhere
you
else.
know why? You know why it only became a precedent? Let me tell you why it only became a precedent. Because
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z is in charge of it. If it was somebody that we did not know at all, we would not be thinking about it being a precedent. It's because it's Jay-Z. That's no
But he did do it though. With the Cali, he didn't have to bring out Dr. Dre.
what I'm saying is it doesn't need to be a precedent. It's only a precedent because it's him. He didn't. I don't even know why he brought out Dr. Dre. You know, there's always reasons behind the reason, behind the reason, behind the reason why people doing stuff. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? Like, you know, I because it did look cool. It's like, oh shoot, okay, so they got West Coast. You know, they got Snoop. It wasn't. Yeah, I guess it was West Coast. Yeah, it was Snoop, but they had Mary J. They had 50. They had
Yeah,
Eminem.
they had it. Yeah.
But you know, they're from that regime. But it's like, I wonder why he did that. I wonder what was the thought behind that. But now the expectation, it's crazy how expectations are created.
Mm-hmm.
Expectation is like, oh, it's New Orleans. Lil Wayne is the king of New Orleans. Get Lil Wayne to be. Bro, Lil Wayne don't even be performing well, dog.
Nah, he's trash. His performances are trash.
He got bars, but he doesn't perform well. He just
That one dread be tripping. You got that one dread. It don't be the lyrics don't be coming.
yeah, broken antler.
Yeah, and the lyrics don't be coming out. And then he'll start freestyling.
Yeah, so yeah, it was good to me though. I really appreciated it, man. I mean,
What?
I they
Mm-hmm.
hyped that thing up big time though. They really
They did.
they hyped it up big time. I'm like, wow, niggas really want to see Drake fall.
No, for sure. In a fantasy world, I think for the artist that Kendrick, I know this would never happen, but I think it would have been an amazing thing. And I was talking to a friend about this, and I said this to you previously. I would have loved Kendrick to say somehow bring Drake in it.
Like,
That would have that would have broken down the whole, like, it would have broke the world. Like, somehow bring Drake and they perform despite their differences. Kind of like, yo, I can make fun of my sibling, but y'all can't make fun of my sibling. Like, this is still my brother. You get
But
what I'm trying to say?
it was though. That's the thing.
Well, in the beginning, I mean, they had a relationship. You know what I'm saying? They were friends in the beginning when they were first coming out.
He's a Jola kid.
Yeah, you probably right. Because Drake,
Jola.
and it's funny because I saw an interview with Tyga and he was talking about how Drake, he's great as a musician, but as a person, he's fake. Like he's not as genuine as he comes off to be. So
People say, who was saying it? I think it was actually Kendrick that said it.
mm,
Saying how in the industry, people don't be who they really say they are. They're like laugh and smile on your face and whatever, but they're really not. They're really not fucking with you like that. But then he's talking about J. Cole, but he was like, I think it was either him or 21 Savage that said that about J. Cole. And he was like, but J. Cole is a real dude, like what you see is what you get with him. Like he is who he is. Like he's not doing any fakery type stuff. And I'm like, but so it just shows me that the industry is a dog eat dog world. If you can help me get to where I need to get to, then we good. But the moment you can't help me or you ain't got it like that, okay.
so what does that say for someone like J. Cole, who is like real life? He's friends with someone like Drake, who people consider fake, but he's friends with someone real, like Kendrick, who people consider is real. So it's like, and in J. Cole's mind, he was like, they both my brothers. So is it because J. Cole maybe has a healthy balance as far as compartmentalization, or does he know how to keep Drake in a certain distance where it
It's
doesn't mm-hmm.
it's about emotional intelligence and it's about who the person is. Like
mm,
J. Cole been on brand. Like he not about the beef. He ain't gonna act like he hood. He's not gonna be someone he's not. He's not trying to beef with people. That's why when he pulled that track from dissing Kendrick, to me it makes so much sense because that's just not who he is. He realized that I'm stepping out of character right now. It's not good with my spirit. I'm good. I'm taking it off. He's always just been that type of person. And then also, I think we have to really define what friendship is, especially when it comes to business. Like, are they
mm.
really friends or are they just cool? You see what I'm saying? I think there's a difference.
Well, in
Like,
his song, he
I,
said,
he said, "What?
He said, Drake, you my nigga, you did so much for me.
Yeah, but does that really mean friends though? That's my thing. It's like, because here's how I look at it. There's different types of relationships. There is okay, I got my homeboys that I grew up on the block. Like those are like my brothers to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I need something, I know they're there. That's a tier of friendship that is literally you consider that family. You don't even consider that friendship. You consider
Mm-hmm.
it family. But then let's say I go off to college, I meet some people or whatever, and then we have like, the college struggle and experience, so on and so forth. Now we become friends, and then there's an opportunity for you to get into that brother atmosphere, like that really friendship atmosphere. Then as I get older, I get into my career. Then you got dudes, you got women that you like, you drink with, you go out with, so on and so forth. They like your colleagues. Maybe one or two of them can really become your friend, but a lot of times with the work relationships, it don't really happen that way. They kind of just keep them, at a certain space. Like you
Right.
out, you can help me, I can help you, but that's really about it. I feel like that's what they have. Like that's what Cole has with Drake. Versus
Gotcha.
his boy Eve is different. Like he met him in college, he went through the struggle with him, looking to get into the industry, and then now he crossed that line of being brothers. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's different phases. When I hear friendship, I don't, especially when it comes to business, I never really think that, oh, that person and that person are friends, or me and this person are friends. Like the last job I had, being the VP at the practice, like me and the CEO, we were cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're cool. But I wouldn't necessarily consider him my friend like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't consider him my friend, but we were really cool. I went to his house once, so on and so forth. When I needed something, he looked out. When he needs something, I look out, no problem. But we're not like friends. That's the best way I could kind of explain all of it. That's how I see it.
Got you. No, I definitely understand. It's just when everybody's pressuring you, like, yo, how could you be cool with that person when they think that way, when they think negative of that person?
Yeah,
Is
it
I
just compartmentalization. It's like, yo, that's none of my business. That got nothing to do with me. See, and that's the thing. Like, say for example, in our core group of friends, if you had issues with one of the boys, other boys, I think that's when I would step in and be like, yo, what's good? Like, history. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, why y'all boys beefing? Y'all niggas need to chill.
Mhm.
I think because that's like we grew up together from kids. So for me, that's different versus it's like adults. I met you in adulthood and you have your camp, I have my camp, and that person has their camp. Why am I trying to step in to like facilitate what's going on in those two camps?
I see what you're saying.
Why would I do that? Like they're not the way I see it is like Cole has his camp, Drake has his camp, Kendrick has his camp. They try to make it like, oh, Cole and Kendrick are in one camp. No, Cole
Mm,
and Drake are
Drake.
in one camp. No, they're not. No, they just do music together. They just have a song together. They're not in the same camp. So that's how I kind of look at it. Why? So why I'm gonna beef with this nigga just because this nigga got to be like that got nothing to do with me.
Exactly. I wish you would talk to Trump about making Canada a 51st state, by the way. So, with all this music talk, what do you have for our M&Ms this week? Our mental health music.
Yeah, I got. It's kind of like a piggybacking off of our last episode where I said something that 50 Cent said in his lyrics. I actually found it.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
song Mini Man. I was right on that. It's a song Mini Man. He says, "Joy wouldn't feel good if it wasn't for pain."
Hmm.
So going back to our last episode, if you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. Where I was explaining how pain, you can't necessarily really truly enjoy life if you don't experience pain, because then where is the true appreciation for joy and for fun and for happiness and for peace if you haven't experienced suffering and pain? You can't really appreciate it.
Hmm. I think for me too, to add to your point, because I think a lot of us, a lot of people in general, have a hard time accepting their full selves. So how can you truly love yourself or accept yourself if you don't take the good and the bad parts of yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And man, that's something that I'm learning this season of my life is I'm able to see and experience the fullness of life by not being um by not being biased to one thing happening. So I'm recognizing that, hey, this can be the worst season of my life, and at the same breath, it can be the best season of my life. Like two things can stand true, but it's all about how are you perceiving what's happening.
Right. And that's the work behind the work, right? That's really learning how to enjoy the process,
The game within the game.
the game within the game, right? And I this transitions into our main topic, right? When we're going to talk about, right? You wanted to bring up the burden of that men carry of performing, right? So, what are some things that stood out to you and why you wanted to bring this up today on the pod? Like, what was significant about the burden of men carrying of performing?
Man, I think it's heavily significant because that's the life that most of us live.
Yeah.
And it's so scary because we think that when we're performing that is who we are, and it's not. It's actually just a role that we're playing.
Mm,
That's literally all it is. We're just playing a role. And I've been working with a few men as of late to really deconstruct their perception of themselves and the perception that they want to be seen as from those around them. And one of the activities that I do is I have them say, all right, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write I am, and then whatever comes up after that. So
Mm.
I am funny, or I am happy, or I am okay. You know, a lot of times what ends up happening is they say, I am a father, I am a husband,
Hmm.
I am a financial advisor. So they
Hmm.
start listing their roles. And once they start listing their roles, I look at their list. I said, okay, these are things that you do. These are roles that you play, but this is not who you are. And you
Well,
see the wheels churning. It's like, what? It's confusing. It's like, what do you mean?
it is confusing because, to be honest with you, we are loved for what we
Oh,
do,
oh, 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 oh,
or love what
oh, oh.
that's our love,
No,
like
it
that we receive.
that's the point I'm making. This is why we're talking about the pressure of performing. This is exactly
Yes,
why.
exactly.
Be-
Because
Go ahead.
no. It's, for example, like you sent me a clip and Shannon Sharp asked Cash Doll, "Can you be with a 9 to 5 dude?"
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, as if that's like a
Bruh.
like what you mean, like not that's a 9 to 5 dude. Like so now if I'm a entrepreneur and I don't work a 9 to 5, I'm better than a dude that works a 9 to 5. Or if I'm out of work, I'm nobody. I don't deserve any type of love, you
Yeah.
know?
I, yeah, when I saw that clip, well, I didn't get the perspective that you got. That's a great point. Like when you said 9 to 5 is like you just categorizing a dude that has a 9 to 5 versus a dude that is a businessman, has businesses. It's like there's a differentiation here, which at the letter of the law, well, no, let me not say that.
Mm,
At the surface, on the surface, I should say, yeah, there is a difference because one has
more responsibility.
yeah, more responsibility, yes, and the other one he has a time restraint.
Yeah.
Okay, one makes more money than the other. Hold
Supposedly.
true, supposedly, absolutely true. So I could see why Shannon brought it up in that way based off of the lifestyle that she's living. And I did like her answer though. I did.
Very beautiful.
I really loved her answer. She was like, "Hey, if he make me feel a certain type of way, that's all I'm really worried. That's all I really want." Because that sounds like a woman that she's like, "Man, I've experienced all of this stuff and this life, and it's great, but man, I just need somebody that's gonna love me for me."
Exactly.
And so
Where as men.
that's all that other stuff. Like, hey, he make me feel a certain type of way. Then I'm like, wow.
So and that's why I'm asking you a question. As men, how it's very difficult to be in life, just in a situation where you feel like your family, your woman loves you for you.
Yeah, um, it's tough because we have been conditioned since we were kids to perform, bro. It's simple as we on a block hooping. You gotta show up in a certain type of way, man, because you don't want niggas to try you.
Yeah.
You wanna show that I got something, and then when you actually experience that, it's like whoa, it's like you want more of it. I remember that happened to me when I was about I had to be like 9, 10 years old, and we're
Mhm.
in the church parking lot. We always used to play football, and at that time, the kids are older than me. Rosny, they're like 3, 4 years older
Mhm.
than me, and
Mhm.
at that age, you don't realize. Well, I did realize that they were much older than me, but I didn't realize that literally I was in elementary and they were in middle school, like late middle school, like seventh, eighth grade.
That's the red, white, and blue days.
So I just really wanted their approval. I wanted their acceptance, and I
Right.
noticed that football would be the way to get it. It's like intuitively we know these things as human beings. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that football would be the way to get it. And I will never forget this. And this memory actually came back to me sometime in the last 2, 3 months. I remember it was a fourth down. Rossi threw the football, and I caught it in traffic, first down. And the way he ran to me and he picked me up, so on and so forth, man, I felt like, okay, I made it. And from on, it was like literally a part of my identity became, oh, when I play football, I have to show out. When I play basketball, I have to show out because that's how I'm going to gain acceptance, approval, and respect.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts just from that small age. That's when the seed is planted. This is why I love rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant, when he tells the story on Lewis House podcast on when he didn't score not 1 point an entire season. He was like 11 years old, played in AAU, I believe. He didn't score 1 point. And his dad told him, yo, I don't care if you score 0 or 60 points. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to love you. And I really believe that that is the foundation of Kobe's basketball career. Like, this is why you can go NBA history, miss the most shots ever, because you don't care,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's not about the performance now. Now it's just, oh, it's about the love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me getting better. It's about me growing. It's about me winning. It's about me learning. Because I don't need to worry about the love stuff because my dad already solidified that for me. I'm good. I don't have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about that. So that now there's a level of pressure that's not there. But for most men, there's an immense pressure there because we don't realize that unconsciously we are performing to gain approval, to gain love, to gain acceptance. And as a result, it just puts an immense amount of pressure on us.
So how do we rework that in our lives? Because I've seen it in two ways for men, and it's probably more nuanced to that. I've seen the pressure break down a man where now he's drinking more, watching more porn, smoking because of the pressures of the day, of the 9 to 5, of the love. Then I've seen other men, because of that pressure, they quote unquote perform at a high level, but all they do is mask all the pain that comes from the pressure. And they go to the gym, they get the six pack, they get the money, and then they grease all these holes and they become narcissists. You know what I mean? So if I'm a man and I'm feeling the weight of the pressure and I'm trying to choose whether I want to be either or, like, how do I break that down so I don't feel that pressure anymore?
Yeah. The thing is, first of all, it doesn't have to be either or.
Mm,
That's number one. It just has to be what is going to work best for you. So that's one. Two, I strongly believe that every single person has at least one person in their lives that truly loves them for who they are. So there are people in our lives that love us for who we truly are, and we just have to be able to locate and recognize that. Because there are people that love us for who we are, but because we're so stuck on receiving acceptance through performance, we think that that person actually just loves us for what we do, but they actually don't. They love us for who we are.
mhm,
So you have to be able to identify first who are the people in my life that loves me for me. And the way and how you know this is when you tell them something, how do they react? When you
mm,
tell something, what type of advice did you give you? Like, oh man, you about to ruin your life and stuff like that. Oh, why did you do that? Is there compassion? Is there empathy? Is there encouragement? Is there like, yo, you're gonna be good, bro? Like, things like this happen. Like, do you, is that the type of conversation that you're having with this person when
mhm.
you do something that can seemingly look like it's your world and your life is coming to an end?
You know, it's crazy. Back to the Eminem section with the 50 Cent song. To be honest with you, sometimes in life, you don't find that out until you go through a certain level of pain. So you can't have the joy without pain because it's not until you ruin your life, supposedly, that's when you find out who really fucks with you.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's so true. unfortunately, it comes to that. It's true. It's true because now you start to see like, oh wow, like these are the people that are really for me. And I think the baby said that.
Mm,
He said that about 50 Cent. He was like, because he said that racial slur,
yes.
and he was like, yo, everybody left him. He said he didn't even know 50 at that time. 50 hit him up, 50 gave him an opportunity, 50 gave him encouragement, 50 told him to make music. He was like, yo, and ever since then, 50 has been a brother to him. It's like, yeah, you really see who rock with you when you're at your lowest. This is when you're at your highest. When you're at your highest, most likely that means you're performing at your best. When you're
Yeah.
at your highest, everybody's gonna want to be connected to that. But when you hit that rock bottom, when you feel that pain, you're gonna really see like, oh shoot, yeah, you really start to see, man. And I feel like these last couple of years I've been experiencing that as I've gone through tough moments. It has allowed me to, let's say this, when I took off my cape and I was no longer Superman and I was Clark Kent, I really saw who truly cared for me. And to my surprise, I had a lot of people that were looking out for me, like checking up on me, so on and so forth. I was like, oh. So for me, that was like the start for me to understand, like, oh, I don't have to always give the best advice. I don't always have to help people out. I don't always have to get everything right for me to have love and respect in the eyes of people. I don't have to operate like that all the time because that's pressure. Well, I don't operate like that all the time. I know if I mess up or if things don't go the way that I planned or if I'm just down in the dumps or if I'm broke, I know that there are going to be people that are still going to rock with me.
And I think that's the fear that a lot of men faces. If I'm not performing, who's going to care anyway? Like,
Let me tell you something.
mhm,
We don't even know we're performing, bro. We don't.
that's true.
We're just being us, and we're not. We're literally just playing a role. We're just playing a role. Literally, we're just playing a role. Playing a role as a partner, playing a role as a parent, playing a role as someone who works. You're just playing a role. And then you show up in these roles in a certain type of way because you're trying to make sure that you gain a level of approval and acceptance. That's what you're
Hmm.
trying to do. But man, when you're showing up, and this is what I'm learning more and more, when you're showing up in environments, unconsciously showing up in a way to be approved or to, let's say, not be rejected, it's tough. Come on, think about it. This may sound funny, but at the core of it, it's true. Bro, as men, we always get the short end of the stick when it comes to rejection. It's like we have to take rejection and just has to roll off our back because we're men.
Yeah.
But bro, before I'm a man, I'm a human first. Like I have
Mm,
feelings. Like I'm a human too. So you just think about it. So a man, forget a man. As a boy, I'm supposed to be brave enough to just go talk to a girl and get rejected and be like, whatever, and just go on to the next, and then go on to the next, and just keep getting rejected and act like it doesn't phase me. I just have to act like it rolls off my back. No, that shit hurts. Okay, getting rejected, that's not cool. And what ends up happening is when we don't, when we can't acknowledge that, yo, she just rejected me. Dang, like you can't acknowledge that hurt. That's when the toxic masculinity comes into the picture. That's when you start just treating women like, man, F that. Because that energy of rejection is still in you. It's still there. You haven't processed it. You haven't dealt with it. You haven't addressed it. You haven't done any of that. So now that energy is just going into you, turning into this monster pretty much.
okay. Because a lot of times, I don't want to say a lot of times, based on what you said, I can see how men are like, oh yeah, let it roll off your back. Because if you pay attention to it, then you're opening up, you're being vulnerable with yourself or anyone, right? And that's weakness. That's you're
Bro,
spending too much time being weak.
let me tell you something. I'm laughing right now. I'm laughing right now because I had a session with this young man that I've been working with, mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I told old boy, I said, look, man, I want you to write a letter to your kid self. This age, because we had a certain thing that we're talking about, that age, his relationship with his dad, so on and so forth. I said, hey, I want you to write a letter. I want you to write a letter to yourself. And I want you to write the letter to that child at that age. And what were you experiencing emotionally, so on and so forth. I said, cool. Next session comes. And then I'm like, all right, you got the letter? He's like, yes. And he started to explain to me, talking about the letter. I was like, whoa, slow down. Um, I need you to actually read the letter to me. And he was like, well, I don't see how that's relevant. Yo, I was like, I was caught off guard. I was like,
How is it not relevant? We You describing the letter to me instead of just reading it.
Jerry, yo. So we went back and forth for like 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yes, the first 20 minutes of the session of him trying to explain to me and intellectualize and rationalize why he shouldn't read the letter. Why is he relevant? Oh, we worked on that already. I got the lessons from it that I needed to get from it. Now I just want to move forward to the next steps. So you know me, you know my ass. I love asking questions, and I'm like, so okay, cool. So I believe that this is the next step. Based off of where we're going, this is the next step. But if you feel as if this is the next step is not to read it, so you tell me what the next step is. And he's like, to move forward. I said, you're not telling me anything right now. That's very vague. Tell me concretely what's the next step. But he's a smart guy.
Mm.
I noticed that with intellectuals, the EQ be low as hell. Low. It's like, and I told him straight up, I said, look, I get why you don't want to read it because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna bring about certain emotions. I said nobody wants to be seen in that way. I said what you're experiencing that's common. It's normal. But I said I'm gonna tell you what. I said we're gonna end the session right here. It's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes at this point. I said we're gonna end the session right here. And I said two things. I said one, I know you want to move forward with me if you book your next session, and when you book that next session, that means you're going to be ready to read that letter.
Mm.
Two, if I don't see you book, that tells me that all right, you don't want to move forward, and that's okay because I'm just not the right fit for you. But I told him, I said, but in the beginning of our intake of the introduction to therapy, I told you I'm a therapist that challenges and I make things uncomfortable. I told you that. I said, this is it right here. So now you have to decide. And I just ended it with him. And then an hour later, he books.
I'm done.
But to your point, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, we can't say we can't acknowledge that the rejection hurts. We can't acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
it because
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to be a man.
Quotes.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a man. So you got to find another way. You know, you suppress it, you move on. It's like yeah,
And
that
that really damages us. I think it's not until you have a real romantic partner
some of
and
that
children,
you. Yeah,
right? Because connection is
yeah,
very important to keep those
bro.
relationships alive.
Listen, and how you gonna have connection if you don't have emotional intelligence, which deals with allowing somebody to see you for who you really are?
Correct.
How could
And
you have?
acknowledging that pain.
How could you have that? It's hard to have connection if you don't have that. So yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Well, give us our final thoughts.
guys, we gotta stop. We gotta get out of this performance based living. You can't tell me that you're happy because when you are driven by performance and you're getting acceptance and approval and pseudo connection through performance, in your heart of hearts, you know it's not real. But it's not everybody else's fault. It's your fault because you keep showing up that way because you're afraid that if you show who you truly are, there's certain people that's not going to be in your life. There's certain people that's not going to rock with you like that. So now you're keeping yourself in the prison of performance. But it literally just takes one step. Just take one step out. Take one step out. You'll be highly surprised who is for you and who's not for you.
Exactly. Well, bro, I love you.
Love you too. Until we pod. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, the man that says he can and the man that says he can't are both right. Which one are you? Street cred was a major priority, and no respect for any authority. If you love school, you were in the minority. Can't be yourself, only way was conformity. In the dark I prayed, in the jungle Miami, where the lions huff a prey.